In
Paul
practice, who took
Bissonnette.
the hardest shot on you?
Oh, Pavel being one of them. Jim Sandlak being the other.
Okay.
Jim Sandlak could really shoot the puck without a doubt. You know, and to be honest with you, Steve Tambellini, you know, could rip the puck pretty good as well. And they weren't shy about shooting it high. So that kind of
Couple headshots.
That would piss us off a little bit too. So there would be the odd helicopter goalie stick thrown at their heads once in a while.
I hear you. Yeah, and lacrosse, obviously that's what I play. If we hit the goalie in the head, it's automatic lap, or you're doing 20 push-ups. Your choice.
Yeah, well, there wasn't any of that. Most of the guys were good that way. You know, it depended if, you know, what kind of night it was. Maybe the night before, if we had a free night the night before, and they were feeling a little tired, let's say, things got away from them, or they pulled out. They always would blame it on a new batch of sticks. They would pull their new sticks out of the wrapper, and they would be, you know, testing them out, and they weren't used to the curve yet. That's what they say, with a flex. So
okay.
So that was the usual excuse.
Of course. It's funny the cameo story you said, because we had pretty boy Ron Duguay on last week, and he's loving that stuff. He loves that shit.
Well, Dukes is listen. That guy's a rock star. Talking about, there's a rock star without being a rock star. You know, I've talked to some of his old teammates, and they said it was just a sight to see when they used to, you know, travel around the league and land in different cities. But you know, he's still a great looking dude, and you know, he's doing what he's doing, and he's in phenomenal shape at his age. And you know, I don't know if he told you, but I don't think he's officially retired. I think he's still thinking that he wants to make a comeback.
Yeah, he's making a comeback. Exactly. Yeah, he was talking about hanging out with Farrah Fawcett and all this stuff. Gosh. And we're like, wow, oh yeah, this guy's a champ.
Yeah, no, he was deep woods off with a lot of the mainstream celebrities.
Awesome. The 94 Stanley Cup run, let's talk about that for a few minutes. Did you know the team was special before the playoffs?
You know what? We had a special team for a good 5 years almost, and we just underachieved from myself out. And when we get into the playoffs, you know, we would get through the first round, and then we couldn't get over that hump of the second round. We just couldn't find a way to win the seventh game to get into the conference finals, because leading up to 94, you know, we had 2 or 3 years where we were competing for the President's Trophy, and we're just coming up short. We had hell of a teams, you know, and then 94 comes along. It was quite the opposite. We underachieved during the regular season, basically snuck into the playoffs. I think we closed the deal and landed a playoff spot with like 5 or 6 games left in the season. So, you know, we had to fight tooth and nail right to the end. And then, you know, the series against Calgary, where, you know, we win the first game, and then we go down 3, and everybody knows what happens next. We pick our way back in the overtimes, and then win game 7.
The save.
Don't spoil it yet, there, Kurt.
You know, but you know, and then it just snowballed. You know, Pat made some awesome trades at the deadline.
Yeah.
You know, we unfortunately we lost some really good friends. You know, Doug Litzter, and then he goes on to beat us in the finals. But Garth Butcher, you know, who else did we lose? You know, really close friends to me. Robert Dirk, you know.
Right here. That's it. I don't care. You watch hockey for the next 100 years. You'll never see a better save. We talk about Patrick Lawn,
Courts, and Cliffy, and Brownie, Momesso. I mean, you know, it was just a brilliant move at the end of the day, and you know, it's just something that we needed to get us over that hump.
At the time, did you know you made that save? Did you know you had just saved the fucking franchise, so to swear?
Well, you know, it was a defining moment without a doubt, because there was a lot of people starting to doubt my capabilities to come playoff time. You know, and I'd be lying to you if I said that I wasn't starting to think it, or I didn't hear it. You know, you're always wanting to prove everybody wrong, and you know, we'd always, like I said, you know, get to a certain point, and then we just couldn't get over from myself out. So, you know, when that happened, you know, it was a big save, but we had to win the game still. win the series. And then, early, obviously in the second overtime, and Brownie makes that unbelievable pass, almost a no look pass. He spotted Pavel in a tight seam and just bam. And then Pavel going 100 miles an hour. Vernie had no chance because he was caught flat-footed. And if you keep watching the highlights, Pavel almost skates the puck right into the net.
This is the greatest moment of my life.
You were just a youngin' back then.
Oh yeah, but we were still out on the streets with signs back then.
It was crazy times. It was crazy times, and like remember like it was yesterday, going for that Game 7 after we beat Calgary here. Game 6, Pat said, "Pack your bags. We're leaving from Calgary. We're heading down to Dallas." So, he leadership comes right from the top, right? And when you have somebody like him and the guys surrounding him, Glennie Hanlon and Steamer and guys like that, when you get those positive vibes, all you can think of is you're going to win and we're going to move on. And then we did win, and we certainly moved on. We just snowball effect. We steamrolled through both Dallas and Toronto. Not saying it was easy, because it was not even close to being easy. It was a grind. There were two great hockey clubs, and the final series numbers shows that we rolled through them, but it definitely wasn't. They were hard fought games.
How about that elbow?
Dallas?
The elbow.
Yeah. That's I tend to shy from the. We've all seen that. I think Pavel would get life if that was today. I still somehow blows me away that nobody saw that, or he didn't get anything for that. Lucky for us.
That's the exact same words Gino used. Pavel would get life.
Yeah.
I think Hunter said the same thing as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, gosh, could have killed him. Blindsiding him, coming through with a flying elbow. It wasn't just a graze. It was a flying elbow, and they'd been going at it all series, and he was abusing Pavel, and Pavel was that type of guy. He'd give it back to you, and he could get pretty on the dirty side as well. But when that happened, I had a great view of it, because it happened down the far end, and I could see it coming. I'm going, oh my god! And then bam, I could, and Shane gets up from it, and shows you how tough he is, for crying out loud. But it was we were kind of biting our nails there, hoping that nothing was going to happen. Yeah. Thank God there was no other video cameras anywhere, or whatever the deal was. But it still blows me away how he got away with nothing.
And then obviously the third series, Greg Adams' goal against Toronto.
Yeah, it's he had a knack for scoring the big goals. You can bring it right back to Calgary. If he doesn't score the tying goal in the third period with 2.5 minutes left, 3 minutes left, we don't even go into the overtime. So, he would obviously come up big for us all the time. He scores that big goal against Toronto, and then, on we go into the Cup Finals.
Mike, shoot with the Rangers question.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the famous, obviously the famous Linden and McLean picture.
That was game 6 of New York.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what we were trying to figure out. We had a little bit of a debate about that question. I thought it was game 6. That was right after the call of he will play. Play.
That's right.
Yeah.
He'd been all cut because Messier had been all over him for the whole series.
Speaking of, okay, can we get into a little Messier? What's your feelings on Messier? I think that guy's a piece of shit.
Well, I'll let people think what they want to think. Listen, he's arguably one of the best players out there. Top. Yeah. Gosh, he's got to be top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
You have to respect him for what he's done for the game, and what he obviously did in Edmonton with all those cups, and then he he brought the cup to New York. Unfortunately, it wasn't us, but maybe when he came to Vancouver, he was nearing the end of his career, and sometimes it's tough to hang him up when it's time.
Yeah, I always blame Keenan just as much.
Well, that's another topic. But there's another guy. I mean, he's a student of the game. He had, obviously a different philosophy as far as how he wanted to get the message across to his players. It worked for the most part back then, but when he came here, I think that kind of coaching was starting to phase out. But he knew the game. I mean, he just, I think, struggled a little bit when he got here as far as how he wanted to get his message across.